Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. And gotta love LinkedIn for having a chance to connect with the right people. Duane Furlong with the Duane Furlong Studios, and I connected on LinkedIn. I think I had a post out there, Duane, and you're like, hey, I'll come do headshots for you. Let me come and participate in this event. And while that wasn't the right event for that, because it was a very intimate retreat, I said, well, let's meet. So we did a pre-phone call and we connected, and I said, Duane, you got to come and be a guest and tell more people in our circle and sphere about the great work that you're doing as a photographer. So welcome to Phoenix Business Radio.
Thank you very much.
Happy to have you. So let's talk about Duane Furlong Studios. How did you get started? Have you always wanted to be a photographer? I remember our conversation, so I know a few of these answers, but nobody else, at least, who hasn't met you yet, doesn't know.
I have done photography since 7th grade when I did the film. Always loved it, but I did landscape. Then back in 2018, I decided to delve into headshots full time. I've always done photography for people since 2010, but never full time.
Yeah.
So I decided to go for it. I met Peter Hurley in LA and then just loved it. And here I am.
And I remember you telling me about Peter. I don't know him, but you made a great introduction when you were talking about how he had mentored you and
Yes.
kind of helped you really shift to this different business model as it relates to professional headshots and that sort of thing.
Correct.
And he's in LA.
He's actually in New York,
Okay.
but he flies all over the world to teach people.
How important was it for you to have a mentor when you got started and made this shift? Let me back up. Were you doing landscape professionally or always as a hobby?
Just a hobby.
Okay.
Just a hobby. And then people started 2010 working with different people, models, pageants, stuff like that. And I got tired of that. And got laid off in 2018. And
You and a good portion of people.
Yes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this full time.
Yeah.
My wife and I discussed it, and we built a studio in our house.
So good. Very good. And so back to my question around mentorship. What has it meant for you? And I think you mentioned another mentor or two along the way when we had a chance to get to know each other. What does it mean to you to have someone like Peter to mentor you and help you, create that business?
He drives us as headshot photographers. He drives us to be better, to be perfectionists, to look at somebody's face, to look at the expressions and not just click a shutter.
There's a big difference, isn't
There
there?
is a big difference of saying 3, 2, 1 cheese or smile. If you hear that, run.
Yeah. I don't think I mentioned this to you when we had a chance to chat. One of my first jobs in high school, my best friend's family here in the Tempe area owned a studio called Portraits by Reg. And they did weddings and headshots, also very well tied into the school district, so doing the senior portraits. And I got to, man the front desk. I got to sit down with families with all their proofs and talk about the packages and go on a few photo shoots. And I can't help but think, and I don't think of it very often, it was a neat opportunity for me to learn how a business is run. It's probably a good reason why I'm sitting in the studio today, owning and operating my own business. And that connection, there is a big difference between just taking a photo and really getting to see the personality and the essence of that person shining through. So I know that's one of your specialties.
One thing that's always stuck with me is one of his comments is, we change people's perceptions of themselves with one click of the shutter. So you can go from being scared to nervous to being, oh my God, that's me. I've had people cry with how beautiful the images are. And that's what I want, is you as my client to look amazing and have that $1 million image.
When they walk into your studio, I would imagine they come in a little bit nervous and maybe, looking in the mirror days ahead of time thinking, oh, I've got this pimple or my hair
Yeah.
isn't just right or I'm looking old or I've got wrinkles. I'm saying this not because I've ever felt those things about myself. No, just kidding. I did a photo shoot not too long ago and came in with all that self-talk.
Mhm.
That said, I'm too old and and I was fortunate enough to have someone working with that made me feel very comfortable. How do you do that strategically? Is it just your personality and how quickly do you see people starting to ease into the session? Because what I'm understanding you saying is when they see the proofs, that's when the tears show up and it's after the fact and they're like, "My gosh, thank you. You captured me." I'm curious, what's the magic to make that happen when they're working with you?
They walk into the studio, we talk. What's your goals? When's the last time you've had headshots? What is your perception?
Yeah.
And just trying to figure out who they are. And as my daughter says, I tell the corniest dad jokes. That's how I get people to laugh.
Yeah.
And I tell my wife that we all have the jokes that, we've gained over the last years of making you laugh, because if you laugh, then you can capture an authentic smile.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling people, if you hear a photographer saying 3, 2, 1, cheese or smile, turn around,
Mm-hmm.
because you will not get an authentic smile.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the biggest key, is to bring out who Karen is.
Yeah.
Not just a fake smile, but who you are. And then tell you, and the other thing I tell people is, I don't make you look like a Barbie doll. I don't over retouch. I don't do any of that stuff. What I focus on is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You may say, hey, I have bags under my eyes. Great, we'll reduce it, but I'm not going to get rid of them, because that's not you.
Yeah. How about all those filters these days? Sometimes I look at Instagram, or I know it makes me cringe. I don't know that I've ever used a filter. I mean, when I've had professional photos done, there's slight retouching.
Correct.
But I sometimes look at, and let's have the conversation around the folks who are putting themselves out there professionally, right? Not just for fun. These filters, I don't think these people look anything like they do in real life.
I tell people, don't use filters, because if you're on a board of directors and you go for a meeting and you use filters, they're going to say, that's not you.
Yeah.
Or I just tell them point blank, don't use a filter.
So it also goes without saying, a professional headshot warrants a professional photographer, not your phone.
Exactly, because the selfie does not work. You can try, it's not perfectly lit. You don't have the expression. Don't cut yourself out for a wedding, a family, because Karen, you're going to see that and you're just going to flip right by.
Yeah.
You're going to go, no, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn you have a 64% chance of being noticed with a professional headshot.
64%.
I think it was 64%
That's
that you would be clicked on versus a selfie.
Yeah.
Or a poorly lit professional headshot.
So it may not be something that we're psychologically thinking about when we're looking to make connections, which is why it's so important. First impressions are everything.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of Daryl, our producer right now, because not too long ago, he had his first set of headshots done. He was in a mentor program with the city of Tempe, the Tempe Chamber.
Yes.
And they offered that opportunity as part of the mentor program. And I remember Daryl being like, wow, I'm nervous. And when we got the photos back, he's like, oh my God, they're pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know somebody that's actually I worked with at another company, David Key.
Yes. Oh, we did talk
Yes,
about
we
that
did talk
connection.
about
Shout
that.
out to David.
Yeah. And I did his headshot, and he was like,
right.
and he was like, wow. That's what I like to hear after the fact is, wow.
Yeah.
Or I just had somebody right before I came in, like, these were the best headshots from our company that I've ever seen. I dislike my headshots. I use them everywhere now. You did something that nobody else has done.
So let's talk about the clientele. It could be an individual solopreneur or somebody even who works a 9 to 5 and they need a headshot. They come to you. Do I also understand, though, you'd be willing to work with companies and do the composite for the people who need them?
Yes. So basically, I do, like you said, the business people, directors, or somebody that just needs an updated headshot. But I have companies call me and say, hey, I have 30 people. We need headshots.
Awesome.
Can you come down to the office? We establish a budget, backgrounds, and then I take the time and say, hey, I get about 8 to 10 minutes a person. This is what you need to do. Here we go. Tell my corny dad jokes and done. And they work.
Yeah.
And I joke with my wife and the people I get to know is out of the 4.5 years, there's been one person that the corny dad jokes wouldn't work. But he was a 72-year-old attorney, could not get him to laugh.
How were his photos? It's probably still decent because you built rapport.
They were awesome, but I just couldn't get him to laugh. I
Yeah.
tried everything, but I work with doctors, residents. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I have doctor jokes that just make them crack up,
I love it.
and that's who I am. But the companies, like, would just say, I just worked with this company, 15 executives in, out, they were happy. And I got the review saying this is the best that they've ever had.
So good.
They hired a cheap photographer and they were horrible.
And they couldn't use them.
Correct.
Yeah. So is it fair to ask how much people should pay for professional headshots since you've kind of laid the groundwork for that?
So individuals, I look at it, there's 3 tiers.
Mhm.
There's the beginner, the middle, and the top.
Okay.
The top, you're going to look at 1,500 to 2,000 for headshots,
Mhm.
and that would give you a 2 to 4. Then the middle, you're going to talk about 8 to 10, just quick retouch. You may spend $300 or $400.
Mhm.
And the bottom is starting out people, maybe $100, and they'll give you 10 or 15.
Yeah.
But I tell people every day is I don't focus on price. I focus on you. I focus on facial expression. So if you want the top, you're going to spend the money.
Mhm.
If budget is an issue, then you have to just like, what do I want?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell everybody. I'm not the cheapest. I am probably one of the highest in the market, but you get what you pay for.
That's right. Yeah. And it's an experience, right? It's
Correct.
obviously you're drawing out their personality.
Exactly.
It's not just that 1, 2, 3 click.
Yes.
What does professional retouching mean? We've already talked a little bit about it just briefly. For our listeners who maybe it's been a while since they've done a professional headshot
Mhm.
or they've never done one
Correct.
and it's time, what if we were sitting in a consultation or a conversation ahead of time, what would you tell us about retouching? What does that mean?
So professional retouching, we look at your skin, the blemishes, color correction, flyaways, background adjustments if need be, toning the skin. If you have a tan line or you wear sunglasses, we blend the skin just to work on it. But then there's advanced retouching, and that's where it gets really complex if they need to be extracted from the background.
Mhm.
That's a complex process and time consumer, so that's an extra cost.
Sure.
But if it's just the normal headshot, it's skin, blemishes, eyes, making sure the eyes look good, and then you're done.
Mhm.
If you have lipstick and some of it went over, we retouch that out.
Mhm.
We make sure when you get the images back, it's perfect. It
Mhm.
looks like you.
Yeah. How about clothing? How important are colors and clothing?
Absolutely imperative that you follow. I provide guidelines.
Oh,
What
good.
colors, what not to wear. Don't wear dangly earrings. Studs are fine. No necklaces. If you
Mhm.
want a picture of a necklace, great. We'll do the necklace, but I will ask, hey, we're going to do some without.
Can I ask why you would encourage that? Is it does it present more of them?
We are
Less of a
focused on
distraction?
you,
Okay.
your face. We're focused on the face. We don't want a diamond necklace that they're going to go, ooh, shiny thing. Or the dangly earrings. They don't look professional
Yeah.
in that respect. If you want to wear them, great. Take them out though. We're going to get your shots, and then you can put them back on if you want to get a couple shots with them.
And we coming in to work with a professional photographer, I wouldn't think that. And I've done several headshots in the past.
Yeah.
So that's helpful to have you creating a guide to help me know what colors to choose, what to wear, not what to wear. And if I have something that I want to wear, you'll let me do it because I want it and that's what I want. And you'll also say, let's also try these without it so that you can make a decision.
It's 4 to 6 outfits I tell
Okay.
people
Oh,
to
wow.
yeah, because that gives you a wide variety. What's your
Mhm.
favorite color? Oh, purple. Great.
Yeah.
So we'll focus on that. Then we focus on the expressions. At the end of the session, we have 100 to 150 images. We sit down, we go through them, 3 different rounds. You're like, I love these 30. Great. Oh, and some people will say, I just want all 30.
Mhm.
Over and done with. Then you pay and then we retouch. But the average I see is about 6 to 12.
Yeah.
And it's different look, half body, So we do not just the normal headshots. We've add some variety to it. Maybe put color in the background. Actors are big on that.
Mhm. And how about makeup? How important is that as well? And do you recommend that people hire a makeup artist going into it? Is there a difference between I've done my makeup myself or working with someone professionally?
Absolutely. Even if you want to do your makeup yourself, I send you a guide.
Oh, so
I
good.
send everything out so you know what type of makeup. Don't come in with bright red lipstick because it's not going to work. Don't come in with the wings on your eyes because that's not professional.
Mhm.
I have a makeup artist that I use all the time. She does probably 50 to 60% of my clients, but it's also a fee.
Mhm.
So, I mean, some people can afford it, some can't, but she knows exactly what to do. So we get it done. It's about an hour to do hair and makeup, and then we start shooting.
It's a fun experience. Even if
Absolutely.
somebody comes nervous, you quickly help them feel comfortable,
Mhm.
and it's a little bit of a pampering session if they've taken time to read the guides, which of course you
Yes.
ensure that they do, and they select their outfits if the makeup artist is there.
Yep.
It's kind of it's an event. It's an experience.
Yes. And I even help them. They'll bring, like, say, 6 outfits. I'm like, this one won't work. We're
And
not
here's
doing
why.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're not doing it. And a lot of people appreciate that because the average person has no clue what to wear.
Mhm.
And they may bring something with prints all over it. No, that's not happening. And I'm very forthcoming on that type of stuff. I'll just tell you, it will not work.
Yep.
Oh, I want to do it. That's fine.
We'll do it.
But you'll see, and they'll walk around and be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They see everything on the laptop. I can pull you around.
Before they leave.
Yeah. While shooting,
Oh.
I'll pull you out. Well, for the first set, and like, hey, we need to move you. We
Yeah.
need to adjust your neck and stuff like that. But then you don't see anything till the end.
Sure. Again, helping put them at ease, getting them comfortable. They're part of what you're creating. Yes.
And why I do what I do.
Uh-huh.
We do something that's called the turtle. You stick your neck out, bring your chin down, and it makes under your neck how we have that little piece that everybody's like, oh, great. We teach you how to get rid of that so you have a nice jawline.
Yeah.
And
And it
people
feels
love that.
awkward, but it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
I even ask
finish?
them, I go, does it feel awkward? No, you're not doing it right.
Oh.
Pull your forehead out, jam it right out. And people are like, oh, this feels weird. Perfect. Then they
But you're
see the
gonna love
picture.
it. Yeah.
But then I see the picture and like, oh, I have a jawline. You made it disappear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hand over the money.
Right. Yep. And that's why I do what I do.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I even with my jokes, I will say, I'll be here all day.
Good.
That's my second job, to be a comedian.
Yeah.
But no, we just have fun. I just want you to have fun. And yes, I'm in business, but I want you to have the experience. So when you spend the $1,500 to $2,000, you're like, this was worth it.
Yep. So let's talk about some of the industries or the businesses that you've worked with. What other introductions would be helpful for you? It sounds like attorneys and doctors and professional C-level executives,
Yes.
even the solopreneurs.
Yep.
Have you ever worked with the folks in trades? I don't know how important it is for maybe the leadership team.
Those are very difficult, but at times.
Yeah, depends
Probably
on
in
what
the
they have a
last-
need for.
Yeah, probably the last 4.5 years, it's been 1 or 2 companies in the trades,
Mhm.
even individuals. I mean, they just don't picture that they're necessary, even though it is.
Yeah.
you still need to have a face out there.
Yep.
Your face is your business, just like real estate agents. They don't understand your face. You can't have a picture from 1991 still on your business card.
Yeah.
Or the billboard.
That's another thing. Besides the filters and the selfies, the professionally done photo that looked great 15 years ago, and now, like me, you're gray, and it doesn't it doesn't match anymore.
You walk in and you're like, oh,
That's not
that's
you.
not you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Take me back again to, did you say 7th grade is when you started doing landscape photos?
Yeah, I started in the dark room, learning how to process film.
Yeah.
And the red lights and the chemicals, and maybe that's why I have the corny jokes. Who knows? But I enjoyed that. I mean,
Yeah.
I started with just a film camera. A lot of the young people that I work with, the 20, they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah, right.
What's a dark room? But now there's so much digital that it's so easy to get too much in the zone. You just take a ton of pictures. No, that's not what you want.
Yeah. There is an art, a definite art to it.
Exactly. Take your time, find the right angles, and make them feel like $1 million.
Now that this is the work that you do and your career,
Mhm.
do you still enjoy taking photos for fun? Or have you been doing any landscaping? Landscape photography. Yeah.
Occasionally,
Yeah.
well, my wife and family will go out to California and just have, some relaxing time and,
Nice.
Take videos and, landscape of ocean, my daughter, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
More just for fun and like
Just for
we're all
fun.
doing. Yeah.
Exactly. My best friend lives out there. I did her maternity at the ocean. So
Yeah.
it was an experience. I don't do maternity. Don't. But it was fun just to go to the ocean and, take some images and just something out of the normal.
Yeah. And how do people find you? You have a website, and are you on
Yes.
social media as well? I know you're on LinkedIn, obviously, because that's where we connected.
LinkedIn is the main course for social for me,
Mhm.
but I do everything organically. I have my website, organic. People just can type in professional headshots, Phoenix or Scottsdale, and you'll see me.
So good. And it's DuaneFurlongStudios.com,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
And then on LinkedIn, Duane Furlong, Furlong.
Yes.
Yeah. Any networking groups or professional organizations that you enjoy spending time with that we'd want to give a shout out to?
I'm part of the chamber, but I haven't had a lot of time,
Mhm.
Because everybody wants companies are coming in left and right. So
Yeah,
it's just like,
you're busy.
It's just the time,
Yeah,
but I am part of the chamber and also the Better Business Bureau.
very good. Yeah, shout out to Kimberly Rowland and the Better Business Bureau.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they do great work in our community. With
yes.
of course our chambers do too. So
Yes.
good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Duane, thank you so much for being with us here today. It's a pleasure to get to know you a little bit better and share that conversation that we had with our greater listening audience.
Thank you.
And looking forward to staying in touch and sending
absolutely.
business your way. You've been listening to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business and photography. Thanks for listening.